watch all the Star Wars movies in
Oh,
the chronological order? I'm like, yeah.
okay. Yeah, man. Don't ask me twice.
Yeah, really.
All right. Welcome aboard. We are live. Johnny and the Greg. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm Johnny. That's the Greg. And this is our podcast. So without further ado, if you guys could like, subscribe, share, anything that could help this channel grow, we would greatly appreciate that. Greg, you're on.
Yes, John. Well, we are partnered with Audible, home of hundreds of thousands of audiobooks for you to enjoy. You can get 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG. Like I said, you get all the audiobooks that you want. Whatever you buy is yours to keep. And you can listen to them whenever you want. I do it in the car. I do it when I've got like just mindless things to do, like when I'm mowing the lawn, just outside doing stuff, just going for a walk. I put my earbuds in and I'm listening to a book. So I can't suggest it enough. And you can get 30 days for free. So go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Yep. I finished this bad boy. I'm on to the next one.
Jeez, you are just like,
yeah, I'm just diving through these. They're interesting. Like they're not your average action adventure.
Yeah.
I think the guy who is an ex-Navy SEAL, the author, I'm going to try like hell to get him on. He seems very cool enough. He's already responded to me a couple of times through Instagram.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I think I might get him on. Just because I would love to dig inside of a Navy SEAL's head and just talk their stuff. But the way he approaches his character, Greg, what do they call it when, as you are the writer, you're ultimately taking the best parts of you and the parts you want to be, and you're making that a character? What do they call that? Is that like your avatar or your?
No, I wouldn't call it an avatar. I would just call it more of a like write what you know kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, so he definitely does that. And so what I mean by his lead character doesn't do the Hollywood action stuff. It's very special ops, very targeted,
like
very
true to
tactical.
form. Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys are reading I don't know how the first show is going to come on. From what I understand, the show, the Terminal List that's coming on, which is the first book in this series by this author, it's not at all like the book. And Jack Carr like has written like the book for the show and the book for the book. Does that make sense? So it's like he's taken the essence of what the book's about and put it differently. So he's very tactical in the way he approaches problems. I'll just say it that so I don't ruin anything.
So it's more of a based on novel, not like a direct adaptation kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
It sounds like that. I have to watch it. But from what I watch with, there are certain things I'm like, well, that's not in the book, but that's interesting. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, Greg, you sound like you wanted to talk about it. Actually, I have a real quick question. Behind you is a lightsaber. Which one is that? Is that new?
No, well, not new, but
it's new to us.
It hasn't been on here before. It is Luke's lightsaber. This is
I'm sorry. I thought you didn't have it actually connected. I thought it was like the prop of the.
It's an older model. So it doesn't the blade doesn't come off or anything like that for that one. Because it, like I said, it's an older model. Although it's funny, I'm talking with my 17-year-old who has a summer job and she's very excited for it. And she's like, Dad, can we go halvesies on like a really nice lightsaber? And I'm like, well, but then you're gonna move out and like you're gonna go to college.
You're gonna take it from me.
Who gets to keep it then? Like that's how's that gonna
tell her you'll get it back when you have a house.
But then eventually you still have to give it up, and I don't want to do that.
You'll be all right. It's your daughter. It's not like you're giving up to a stranger.
Maybe by that time I'll just go.
Plus, when you go over there to visit, it'll be a lot of fun. It's like you can reconnect, right?
Yeah.
Almost hand it down like a family heirloom.
And just like stop over at her place and be like, I'm here to see my lightsaber.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is it available?
How much does a really, really good one go for?
A couple hundred for when I say a couple, I mean probably like three. Like you go.
I actually don't think that's bad.
You go on certain sites and you get to like, you can like price them out.
Yeah.
And you can put all the bells and whistles on them. You can get, different sound effects. You can get so like when they clash, they can get like a spark type strobe color and all these. You get multicolored ones where you just like flip a switch and it'll change a color. And,
Change the color.
so they've gotten very advanced than what that one is.
So
And
could I technically walk up to a tree and boom, and it wouldn't?
some
I was gonna say, and it
not
wouldn't.
that one.
Eventually, it would break, but like
some of these newer ones that they make, they are made for
sparring.
Sparring. Yeah, they're like, if you're going to be doing like stage combat with this and doing like fan films or whatever, they're made for that. And they will,
Really?
yeah, they'll take that kind of impact over and over and over again. That's what they're made for.
Wow.
And there are still some that are like, I know there are some that I think the bulbs are brighter and have like more of an effect to them, but they're like, don't hit this one. In fact, last time you and I were at a convention, I stopped by one of the saber booths and I was like, okay. And they had the dark saber, and the guy was showing me like with a regular saber. He's
dark
like,
saber. That's the thing on Mandalorian.
Yes.
Yes.
And so he had a regular saber and he's like, go ahead, bang it around. And I was like, kind of tapping. He's like, nah, man, give it a whack. So I'm like, really, banging.
It feel good?
Well, yeah, it was cool.
Or was a part of you going, I'm going to break this, dude?
That was more of that. I'm like, don't break now. I don't want to pay for this.
Yeah.
And he's like, and we just made the dark saber because I don't know if Mandalorian had come out yet, but it was on its way and we knew it was on its way. And I was like, well, can you bang around that one? And that was like a thin kind of plexiglass, piece with designs in it. He's like, no, don't bang on that one. And I was like, okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I mean, she's getting into like prop stuff and she wants to
have a prop closet.
Yeah. She wants some
prop room.
She wants some cool nerdy stuff, and she wants to like dress up for Renaissance fair, and she wants to do these things. So I think it's really cool. And it's one of those things.
Have at it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As long as you got the discretionary income to kind of get those things, get them now.
And the room. That's important, because if I had it my way, there would be a life-size raptor in this room somewhere. I love the raptors. I love those things scared me more than a T-Rex. But
did you see the movie this week?
I did not. Did you?
Yes.
Cool. I want to talk about it. But since we're talking about nerdy collecting stuff, I just thought it was really cool. I want to thank my sister Kim. She went to California.
Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars thing. But then she went to someplace else where she went to Avenger Campus. I don't know if that's the same place or.
So it's not. No.
Okay.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
So Disneyland in
California.
California, Anaheim,
yes.
I think. They have Avengers Campus. So that's not in Disney World yet, but they've got it at Disneyland.
Right.
And I guess it's pretty cool. But what'd she get you? It looks like a hat or something.
Yeah, she got me a Doctor Strange hat.
Oh, very nice.
What I think is very cool about it, kind of separate, is that in it is the cloak of levitation, like what's underneath his cloak. So I thought that's just a really cool little touch.
Are those birds? Is that like
a
bird
they look like little doves, which makes sense. Cloak of levitation.
Cloak of levitation, yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. So thank you, Kim. I think it was really sweet.
Kim.
As soon as I put shelves here, this will be right up there hanging out.
Get the two in IKEA.
Yeah.
So that's what these are.
Are they?
Yeah, IKEA specials. We actually bought them for the kids' rooms, and then the kids didn't want them. And when I rearranged my desk and stuff, I was like, well, then I'll use them.
Yeah.
So
I'm afraid to tell Ursula that I want to put shelves here because she's going to want to go elsewhere. Not someplace cheap and easy.
Yeah,
she's going to want to go elsewhere. Like it's going to have to be oak shelves. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Well, I kind of, I know a guy by the name of Paul, and he has like the cool glass cabinet, just absolutely chock full of
memorabilia.
Action figures and lots of other stuff. And I'm just like, that is fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it really is. It's cool.
I would
ever see those. Like if you look on Instagram, I think I've sent you a couple. Like I think the last one I sent you was like some guy or some girl totally decked out an entire room of Harry Potter. Harry Potter was everywhere. Yeah. And I was like, wow. Like I guarantee if that's a guy, he does not have a girlfriend.
Oh, come on.
Because you spending too much money on that.
No he's fine. He is fine. I do like like we've got a bookshelf, some pretty nice bookshelves in our front room, and we have one section that is all Harry Potter. It's all the wands we've collected
Yeah.
as Universal, and we've got when I was down there, I bought like a big, I don't know if it's brass. It's probably aluminum painted to look like brass, but it's the Hogwarts coat of arms.
Oh, cool.
And I can put that up in the middle, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it adds something to the house, and
Yeah.
you know, I like my little nerd pockets of my house.
You're actually very lucky in terms of your wife. I don't want to say allows it, but she allows it.
Because she's into it too. I mean,
I have a basement where I can do that, and that's it. And that's fine. I don't really need anything else because I think my wife does a very nice job with the rest of the house with the ambiance. And I'm the way she decorates, if I were to put a giant thorax in there, you know, it probably wouldn't it ruined something. You
see, but what I've found as I'm getting older, what I do like is a little bit of, because they do have some more designery kind of things now for decorating your house. It's not just, okay, we're going to have, you know, the made out of plastics Stormbreaker.
Yes.
That you can put on the corner. I mean, you go to some of these shops, well, Bed Bath and Beyond, they've got an entire Harry Potter collection, and
they do
stuff. Yeah, they do.
I didn't know that.
And that's the kind of thing I'm like, it's subtle. I like it. I have no problem with doing, if that's the decorating that somebody wants.
Yeah, I actually asked Ursula because I go through you know me, I have phases. And I was in a big Harry Potter phase for a good, I think, 3 months. And I asked her, would you get mad if I bought a Harry Potter wand that changes the channel on the TV? And she goes, not like, she couldn't say no because like if company ever came and heaven forbid they saw that we have fun, I could always hide it. So to her, she was like, well, you're not asking to put up a poster or something. You're just
there was at one point they made a lightsaber. It was that handle. It was that hilt, Luke's hilt.
Okay. And that changed the channel?
It was a universal remote. Yeah. And like with every button you pushed, it was a different Star Wars sound. And I looked at it and I'm like, interesting, but do I need my remote control to make a sound with every button I push?
That would get annoying. No matter how cool the sounds are.
Right. Because a buddy of mine, well, Mark, you know Mark from our D&D group.
Yes.
He got a Star Trek phaser that
I love those things.
Was a remote control, a next generation phaser. And that was enough. Like I saw that at his house and we used it. And I'm just like,
this would get annoying.
Good for you, man. I'm out. Like that's one I'm not. Yeah. But I like buying art from artists that I can meet and I like, and you know, I like putting that up around my house. At one point, my dining room had a bunch of different prints from all the artists.
Yeah. That's not there anymore.
No, we you know, I took it down. Well, I took it down with the idea that I was going to switch out the pictures because that's the room that gets the most sun, and I didn't want the prints that were up there to get like sun bleached. And my wife was kind of like, can we maybe do something different? I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't care. I have these little pockets around the house, like in the downstairs, I don't know, half bath, I guess you call it. It's a sink and a toilet. Like I've got prints up in there. Like I painted it, and framed some of the prints and I got it up in there. Cool. Yeah, fine. Yeah. It's got a Star Wars rug in that room. It's the Millennium Falcon. Cool. Those are the kind of things I don't care. Like if she said, you know what, I want to put family pictures all in the dining room and the living room. Okay. I don't.
Yeah. What are you gonna?
Doesn't bother me. So
there's very few. The only time I'd have an issue, I actually do have an issue, is when she comes down here and she's like, you should take that down. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You get everything else.
I would feel the same way. Like if I had a dedicated space, this is where you get to house all of your stuff.
Yeah.
And if she's like, I want to change this for you, I'd be like, no, this is you've given me this space. This
with all due respect, leave this place right now.
Yeah. Well, even back here, because this is like, I work from this station. This is like, if I'm on a work meeting, unless I do a virtual background, this is what they see. But this is this is who I am. So everybody's kind of cool with that.
Right.
And, but my wife is like, you spent a lot of time doing up your area. Can we spend the same amount of effort doing my area? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But the thing about me doing this area is I did all this. Like,
yeah.
I took,
Was
the Saturday.
just going to ask you that.
Well,
What does
I
we mean?
Yeah, I took the Saturday morning and I did it up with my aesthetics, and that's what I did. And I've got, like, I want in this, am I doing that right? Can you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
In this space, this white space here, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to put something there. I don't know if I want to hang a sword up or a lightsaber or put more prints. That's fine. I've got this white space over here. I'm like, I want to do something there. I want, but that's me. And I'm going to do that. I'm not going to go expect her
to go do it,
to figure it out. And I want you to put something here, figure that out. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And so I'm not going to do that for her area. And I
think that's fair. I think that's fair.
No, if she gets a bunch of stuff and says,
help me hang it.
Yeah. Yes. Can you please hang these up? Cause I can't reach. And
that's different. Yes.
No problem.
Excellent. Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
But I'm
not going to play interior decorator.
No. And nor am I going to twist her arm saying, hey, this Saturday, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Because she might not be ready or she doesn't want to. I'm like, when you figure it out, I'm happy to help. But
So let's go into the review section because I have a couple of reviews. How are you liking Obi-Wan so far?
I like it.
Yeah.
Now,
me too.
There is a whole section of Star Wars fans out there that are just pissed off.
Really?
Yes, they are, because they wanted something that the show never promised and never said it was going to be. Like I don't know what they were thinking, if they thought we were going to just open up on Tatooine and have badass Jedi General Kenobi. That's not what we were promised. It's not even what they hinted at. They just said, we're going to make a Kenobi series. And from the very first episode, from episode 1 of Kenobi, the whole basis of this show of season 1 is him saving a 10-year-old Princess Leia. That's what it is.
Yeah.
People have convinced themselves that they wanted something different, or they've convinced themselves that the show was promising something else. Right. And because it's not delivering on their self-made promises, they're upset. And I think that really kind of sums up the Star Wars fandom in so many ways.
Yeah, it is a very unique fandom, actually. It's because they can get very angry very quickly. And you're right. Most of the time it's because it's not going the way they envisioned it would go.
Yes.
Right.
And this it's not all that dissimilar. And a lot of Star Wars fans that like swear off professional sports are going to be pissed at this comparison, but they are like a diehard sports fan. So I'm a Packer fan. Everybody we've covered that a lot on this show. Mm-hmm. And if I went into a season just absolutely convinced that the Packers are going to the Super Bowl, they're going to have a near perfect season, this is going to happen. And when it doesn't happen, I just get totally gripped at the Packers and the coaches and everything. Like, my life sucks now because it's not going the way I had it going in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is Star Wars.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think, yes, you're definitely right. Yeah. I like Kenobi. I went in there thinking to myself, I wouldn't like it, or I didn't care. Actually, I think I was in the I guess you could call it, on the soapbox of why are we constantly telling the same stories with the same characters? Expand this universe. I want to see different things in this universe. Give
me some new people.
Yeah. And I think it's great. I think I think it's because I'm so surprised by some things I see. Like, I was like, holy cow, there's Leia. Why is she in it? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is all about rescuing Leia. That's cool. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect that. I didn't know. Of course, I didn't go digging, looking for anything. I think it's very unique that he's not the old, went into retirement and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I know how this feels. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
They're actually showing that, hey, if you don't exercise that force muscle,
yeah, yep,
it's hard to get it back.
He has atrophied for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting to put that. And
Mhm.
I like that they made Vader vengeful, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna make you hurt the way you made me hurt. Like that
Yeah.
was cool. Um, there's a couple of things that's me nitpicking because I've seen other things like how can Vader let a wall of fire stop him from going after him? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
things,
There's
small
some
things like that.
there are
But
some holes, but
yeah, but
again,
overall, I'm
look
totally
look
having a good time with
yeah,
it.
people got to learn to look past those kind of things.
Yes.
And Star Wars fans just can't. Like
Yeah.
even the fact that Obi-Wan and Vader have come face to face.
Yes.
But in episode 4, where Vader's like, I sense this presence.
Yeah.
I haven't felt it since. And everybody's like, that means he hasn't felt it since Mustafar. I'm like, no, it just means he hasn't felt it in a
Felt it
while.
in the wild. He
We
never
don't
finished the
know.
quench. He never
No,
finished the statement.
he
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not like he's going, it's been
Mm.
20 years since that he
Right.
doesn't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I like it. I know Hayden Christensen has said that a Vader spin-off series would be very cool. And I think he's right. I think people would
if you
love to
do it
see
right,
that.
if you do it right,
And
make
and
him
if
a
you
bad guy, by the way. Like,
Mhm.
don't make him like, don't show a soft side or any of that crap. Because I feel
Well,
that's what they kind of wanted to do with Boba Fett. They kind of wanted to make him an anti-hero. Just make him a
uh,
badass.
yeah, and even Timu Morrison, who plays Boba
Right.
Fett, came out and said that recently. He's like, no, like bring back the badass Boba Fett. That's what
Yeah.
people want to see.
Yes.
I think yes, you bring in Vader, who's like this badass, but then you show just how broken he is, and
Well, yeah, yeah.
like
If you do it well, you can
what
tell that
drives
he's broken.
yeah,
But
what drives the dark side is that fear, anger, and hate.
yeah.
And all of that can come from a very broken place.
Yes, you're right.
And how he's lost everything that he loves. And the only person that's really left is this manipulative old man who he knows is manipulating him, but he has nobody else to go to
Right.
because he killed all of his friends and has sworn off any kind of light side thing. So he's just kind of stuck in this dark place.
Yeah.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot you can do with that.
There's a lot of tragedy there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think of Ms. Marvel, the first one?
I liked the first episode with the caveat of I watched it with my family. I am very well aware, even going into this movie, or I'm sorry, going into the show, that your 44-year-old white male is not the target audience for this show.
Right.
Like, so there are things in there where I'm my connection with the high school teenager who's got angsty things with her mom. I don't connect with that on a personal level, but I can watch it and go, okay, I understand that relationship and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Ursula, Gwen, and I watched it today, and I liked it. I was like, okay. But again, I have no idea what to expect. Right. I know she's a very popular character, and so I'm open-minded to seeing, okay, why is she so popular? And I get it a little bit. It's almost like the new version of Spider-Man.
Kind of, yeah.
But a female wise. Like,
so Kamala Khan, the character.
Yes.
I have not read one single comic with
Nor
her
I.
ever.
Yes.
And my only exposure to her was in the Avengers video game.
Okay.
Excuse me, from a couple of years ago, where she's in the beginning, she's the central character.
Okay.
And I knew that they changed her powers, which I think is fine because I think stretchy powers are kind of lame to begin with.
Okay.
Unless you're going to be like Plastic Man and be able to like morph yourself,
or if you're like the T-1000.
Yeah, which is what Plastic Man is.
Okay.
In the DC universe, he can do some really cool stuff. She's, from what I understand, not there. She does like the big stretchy fist and stretchy legs.
She actually is
shapeshifter. Or?
Yes, that's actually what she can do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She just does that. I don't know, because a big punch is. I don't know. I haven't read a comic book, but I do know that she's a shapeshifter. If you look at her powers,
so she eventually grew into that.
I guess.
At any rate,
yeah.
The Cosmic Band, which I kind of hope is the Nega Band. Which the Nega Band is what Rick Jones had that he would smash together to bring the original Captain Marvel from the Marvel universe.
She only has one though, right?
She's only got one. Yeah.
So there's somewhere out there, and I wanted they're connecting that to the 10 rings.
Could be another one. It also, the other bands that it could be is from a hero called Quasar, who was brought up in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I think he had the Quantum bands.
Yeah. Maybe that's what the Marvels movie is going to be about.
Could be. Yeah. Either way, I'm in.
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining. I thought the actress playing Kamala Khan did very well.
I like how
was great.
Yes, I like how it seemed. I thought she just played just a regular teenage girl who lives in a fantasy land most of the time.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. I love her supporting cast. Like her best friend that seems obviously is going to be her man in the chair / maybe love interest.
Maybe.
And then her parents I think are great because and they give this little sense of the culture they have. It's like, look, I didn't come here to America so that you could dress up as a superhero and live in Fantasyland, right? And that's how they're. And the dad's hilarious.
And that's what I like. I like that they didn't make her dad some kind of hard ass.
Yes.
Who's all about their tradition. He's the fun one. He's the one who's like, I want to be here with you and do this thing, but we have to keep, it's like, we can be there, but we got to keep it here. So we can be here, but here.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
And I don't know. I like that, he cares about it. I mean, both of them, you can tell that they actually care.
Yes.
One's just a little bit harder than the other.
Yes.
And, like the TV we grew up with, the dad was either like a super smart, serious guy, or he was an idiot. And I'm glad that they're like, no, that's not the only way we can go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised. So, again, I didn't expect anything, but I like it. And Gwen liked it. And honestly, I think that's important. I think Gwen needs to see female role models and see, even if they're superheroes, like I want her to pick up a Thor hammer and tell me she's Jane Foster and not Thor, So, anyway, so those are the two.
My daughters too. They were totally into it, and I'm glad that I'm glad they have things that they can watch and connect to.
Absolutely.
In terms of that.
Yeah, because it had to be really tough back in the 80s. Everybody was an action hero like Arnold or Sylvester.
Wonder Woman was off the air by that point.
Wonder Woman was gone.
And the TV shows you had,
She-Ra really didn't land.
It didn't land cartoon wise, but even the live action, I can't think of a live action female heroine in the 80s that was suitable for preteens and teens.
Right.
Like it didn't hit. And even in the 90s, like who did we get in the 90s that our daughters could have looked up to? I mean,
I can't say Laura Croft.
No, you can't say Laura Croft. I mean, I remember, shortly after I got to college, there was like the Paris Hilton craze, and I'm like, I don't want my daughter
that's bad. Yeah.
But that's all girls had at that point.
That's true.
Who's your fantasy hero to look up to? And there wasn't any. So I'm glad that they.
But now you got Black Widow, her sister, Scarlet Witch, if you want to go that route for the girls that are
for a little bit, yeah. You're gonna get She-Hulk.
Yeah. You're also gonna Gamora, Nebula. They got some strong females in it. Well, they had a whole little montage during the end of the end game.
Yeah, that little service there.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. I look forward to it. You saw Jurassic Park.
I did.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that I haven't seen it. It's because I have a little girl that I don't think can handle it. Can she handle it or no?
There was I think she's 6 years old. She was 6 years old. And for one thing, it's a 2.5 hour movie.
Oh, so okay. That's too bad.
That alone, you're like,
that's too hard.
They're not in for a 2.5 hour movie.
No, they're not, especially with a lot of dialogue and talking. And no,
there's nothing in there. I mean, yes, people get eaten, but it's like
PG-13 eaten.
Yeah. No one's like,
I just rewatched Jurassic Park and watched how Spielberg handled people getting eaten.
Yeah.
And half the time they're covered up and you just hear them screaming.
Yeah.
And that somehow still like gets me going, oh God, I can imagine. Because sometimes you'll hear a crunch
Hmm.
And you're like, oh God, he probably got a skull there. Oh geez. You
Yeah,
know?
I'd say there's even less of that in
Okay.
this one.
Okay.
Um, where I mean, you do see people like get eaten, like the CGI, like whatever mouth comes down, picks them up, and starts to kind of like
Yeah.
toss them back a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, it's
Before you
okay.
get into it, before you get into the review,
Yeah, okay,
I know that it's not getting positive reviews. Now,
correct.
my problem is, okay, does it suck, or are you guys expecting this to be like one of those movies that are just like knock you off your
Right,
boots? Like it's Jurassic Park. It's just a popcorn movie. You're supposed to
absolutely.
see them all the people that have ever been Jurassic Park since this is the finale are all going to be there in the same room running from some dinosaur.
Hmm.
And that's what it's about. If you're looking for an in-depth plot and character building and all this stuff,
Yeah,
you're probably going to get more of a character build out of the dinosaurs than you are the people. So
right.
you're looking at it wrong. So that being said,
That being said, okay,
yes.
I would say like there is a plot line that's running throughout the film, um, that has to do with how uh these prehistoric creatures are impacting our environment.
Okay.
Um, particularly one particular set of creature.
Okay.
And I don't want to give that part away because I thought that was really interesting. That goes, okay, that plot line was super interesting.
Okay.
The rest of it, like, and it's, the world is here we are, we've got Jurassic World, we're learning to cope with these animals, and they're trying to overall like kind of herd them into this one section of the country
Right.
where a
That
company that they called Biosyn is set this up like as a
that's from the original book.
okay, good. Never read it.
Oh,
So Biosyn,
fantastic, Greg. You missed out. That's a great
so
book.
I know I just haven't
Yeah.
yet. So Biosyn is there and they're like, we've set up a preserve, not a park, because no one can go here, but
Right.
it's just very much a preserve for us to take these animals, put them here, and then we'll just keep them alive and monitor them and no one can come in. And so that's, Biosyn's there and they're doing this thing, and um they're seen as like, are they a good corporation or are they a big evil corporation? That develops throughout the film. um as far as like the uh I call them Jurassic Avengers.
Okay.
Like you got the original films and then you
Hmm.
got the I think they had some missed opportunities like bringing in other people from the past films.
Okay.
Like the kids from the first film, I would have been cool if they would have showed up, even a cameo or something
Right.
like that. That didn't happen. Uh it At no point in this film, and there are some, there's chase scenes and there's like people, jaws are coming at them with their, pointy teeth
Yeah.
at,
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
at Jurassic Park, but at no point did I feel like any of our characters were going to die.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Did you
So,
ever feel like ever in any of the other movies that Bryce Howard or Pratt were gonna die?
um, not Pratt, Bryce Howard, I kind of thought might have
Gotten eaten?
it could or something like they
Okay.
would have
Okay.
killed her off in some dramatic fashion. Um, and even with like the returning characters, which are the Doctor,
Alan
Stadler,
Grant,
Alan Grant,
Ian
Ali
Malcolm.
Stadler, yep,
Yeah,
and Ian
Alice
Malcolm.
Sadler. Yeah.
Those are the three that come back. Like
Okay.
that's it from the originals. An opportunity for
Except
them
that
to kill.
DNA guy, right? Woo.
Oh, yeah, the DNA guy
Yeah,
comes
he's
back as
that's
well.
it. Yeah. Okay.
So you have like an opportunity, and there are a couple points where I'm like, oh, are they going to kill him off? That would be, oh, of course not. Of course not. They're not going to kill him off. So yeah, at no point did I feel like anybody was any kind of real danger.
Okay.
Um, and even how they tried to create the danger, you're like, well, he's just going to run over to the ladder and he'll get up just in time. And
Yeah.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little disappointing. Like I didn't feel like anybody was in any kind of real danger, and we're just trying to figure out how this plot's going to move forward.
Okay.
Um, but I will say I liked it a lot better than the second Jurassic World film.
Falling Kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to you, was it a good way to end it all? No, I don't. Let me be honest here. I don't think it's going to end it all. I think we're going to eventually get a sequel or a redo or a reboot or
Right.
something's going to
I
happen.
think we're done with this set of characters at least.
Yes, I agree with that. I just curious.
The
Do you think it was? Did you walk out going, all right, Jurassic World? There we go.
Yeah, I walked out going, okay, all right.
Would you
I
watch it
mean,
while you're folding laundry if it's on?
don't know.
Ooh,
I
okay.
don't know if I would do that. Um, the ending that they have is kind of this voiceovered, you know, very scenic thing that they do with
Yeah.
dinosaurs integrated in. Um, it very much gives you the feel like we are closing this chapter. Like
Okay.
Spielberg is done making
Yeah.
these films.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of the feeling I got at the end. And I'm like, okay, if that's the send off, cool. I'm good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm not asking for another Jurassic movie
Right.
at all.
How was how did your son handle it?
He was on the edge of his seat a couple times,
Oh,
but
good.
not like, again, not in terms of somebody's going to die. He just wanted to see the dinosaurs, and he's getting up
Okay.
close and wanted to examine. So he liked it. Um, I think. Oh, I was going to say there. Oh, I lost my thought. Shit.
That's right.
So yeah, like I said, I think they're done. Like Spielberg, he's, I think, approaching 80 something, if he's
Yeah.
not already.
I didn't think he had anything to do with this, did he?
Well, his name's still on it because he's still.
Oh, was it? So executive
Well,
producer?
yeah, but that's
Okay.
like saying like George Lucas puts his name on Star Wars
Yeah,
stuff.
I was gonna say he might own Jurassic Park. He might
He
have
does.
bought the rights or something like that. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know. Like if they're done making them, fine. I'm cool.
I honestly, God, thought they were going to reboot Indy and Chris Pratt was going to be Indiana Jones.
Well, there was certainly
I
a
thought
lot
that
of
was going to
talk of
happen.
going that way, and I would have been cool with that.
I
So,
totally would have been cool with that. I really like him as an actor. He's one of my, I guess he's one of my top 3 Chris's.
yeah, and now I remember what I was going to say. It really, to me, seemed like that all of the actors in the film, I think each of them maybe had 5 to 10 pages of dialogue total.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It didn't seem like and it takes some very big hops of like they're in one area and now they're in another area. You're like, how the hell did they get there? Like, what do we? Because
it's just all of a sudden they're over here.
Yeah, and you're going, did we miss something, or are we just supposed to assume that they traversed this entire thing to get to that spot?
You know what I thought was really interesting? Pratt's pushing the terminal list more than he's pushing Jurassic Park. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. When he's out and he's doing the late night talk show circuit. Yeah. Now I haven't watched every single Chris Pratt late night talk show circuit that he's been on. I'm sure he's been on a blitz for the last 2 weeks, but all I see is the excerpts.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, sure. Excerpts.
Okay. Just didn't feel right. Anyway, he's just talking about the terminal list. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, really?
Well, it could very well be like Jurassic Park has a lot of press. There are people that have absolutely no idea that the terminal list is coming out or even where to see it.
That's true.
So
that's true. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
And I mean, if you were to say Chris Pratt was the star of this movie, I don't know if I'd say that. Like it's certainly
I heard Bryce Dallas Howard is the one that really comes through in this. I hear her performance.
She has some better moments than she has in the past films. I will say that. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think back on it, I'm like, that was a little odd. I mean, it worked just fine. Yeah. I walked out of it going, okay. If I walked in with really high expectations, I probably would have came out disappointed.
Okay.
But even my son, who's a huge Jurassic Park fan, he walked in, he's like, I'm not expecting a lot. I'm expecting some good CGI of dinosaurs, and they're doing dinosaurs with feathers, which is more correct than it was before. So yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah,
That's that.
that's
So
that part.
okay. So Greg's saying see Jurassic Park if you got a shot.
Yep.
Definitely watch Obi-Wan Kenobi if you are a Star
I
Wars
am
fan.
looking forward. I am looking forward to next week, which is Lightyear. I think that's going to be.
Yes, I'm taking Gwen to that
Yeah,
because
I'm
she
pretty
already
excited.
likes Socks, the cat,
Yeah,
the robot cat. Yeah, that's gonna be
um,
great.
this is one that I am going in with some pretty high expectations
Me
because
too.
I think when Pixar does action, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree with you.
the first Incredibles films is still amongst one of my favorite superhero
I
films out
agree.
there. I think
I
it's
agree.
just
I can
awesome.
watch that over and over again. And every time I watch it over again, I think actually I've watched everyone, and I know people are weird with Toy Story 4. I actually really liked it, but I'm always impressed by their plots. Like,
Okay.
there's
Okay.
not a to me, I'm not talking about just Toy Story, but all of Pixar. There's never really like I don't walk out going, well, that fucking sucked. You know,
I, yeah.
like I didn't watch the one where he becomes a soul. I didn't watch that one.
Oh, so
Yeah,
a lot of people like Soul. I I
I
thought it was a
thought it
good
was
plot, but
Coco with Jazz.
yeah, yeah. And
That's what I thought.
I'm not a big jazz guy. So that's
Yeah,
why I was
neither am I.
like, it
Yeah,
was
I loved Coco, and honestly,
mhm.
I thought I'll be honest, and I'll probably get some hate mail for this, but I that culture, I didn't care. I didn't want to learn
Mhm.
anything about the culture. And then as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I didn't know they had like this flower bridge. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if those things are, but like the Guardians, like,
Yeah.
like that was cool. All that was cool.
Well, my grandmother's in late stages of Alzheimer's. So like when he's singing to his grandma at the end, I was like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That gets you. And dude,
yeah.
Pixar sometimes can yank your
Oh,
heartstrings. And
and they're so good at it.
yes, Up to this day,
Oh
the
my gosh.
beginning of Up destroys me
Yeah.
because I was like, oh my God, they're so adorable. Wait, what? Oh no, she's not doing good. Oh
No.
no.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting
Is
goosebumps
this
just
what
thinking
this
about that.
movie's
Yeah.
about?
You're sitting there and you're like, you son of a bitch. You're like, oh,
Yeah, I still got 2 hours left in this thing.
yeah. No, you're like, how are they going to get it better than that?
Yeah, and then you get Russell and Doug, and it all goes away.
No, and this animated movies are much better at that, I think, than live action films
I
are
agree.
for getting grown men to cry. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
like I
one of
said,
the best. I got chills when Moana was there's two scenes in Moana where she's talking to her grandmother as a spirit. No, I'm sorry. When her grandmother dies, and then you see like this spirit go from the
oh,
hut
right.
all the way through, and now it's this beautiful manta
Manta
ray
ray. Yeah.
underneath the water. I'm like, that gave me chills. I was like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
And then the last moment where she finally realizes that she has the heart of that
Yeah.
that
Tafiti.
fire monsters coming
Mm-hmm.
after is actually what's her name?
It's the heart of Tafiti.
Yeah, that's actually Tafiti, and then
Yeah.
she like takes her on, like heads onto her. Like
Yeah.
I got the chills there. So you're
Yeah.
right. Disney's very good at getting you invested in it more than you
Well,
would naturally get invested in a
and I
movie.
would say almost like animators in general, because Iron Giant is not a Disney film, but holy
Right.
shit. I mean, that movie gets me every single time.
Yeah, that is one of your favorites. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I would say to put in your casket would be like a little figure of Iron Giant and a little Rocketeer jetpack or something.
I'd be cool with that.
And I send
That's
you
okay.
off to heaven with those things. So, yeah, okay, that's our
Cool.
movie
Cool,
thing.
cool. Yeah.
Did you you said you wanted to talk about something
A little bit.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, and I don't know, I'm not even looking at how many people are listening tonight, but so I'm going through a job change. It was completely voluntary. This is now I will say, and I've been thinking about this a lot over the last, I'd say, week. So I put in my 2 weeks at my job, worked out my 2 weeks. That ended on Friday, and I'm starting my new job on Wednesday. And as a teacher, when I was working in the school districts, like like sometimes in like April or March, depending on how you're ending your contract with the school. So fairly early on, it's like, I'm not going to be here next year. And then you have to work out the rest of your contract. So like saying goodbye to people starts pretty early. And so you get done, and then you have another June, July, August to kind of gear up for your next job.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how different that was from people that work from the other like 99.9% of the world, that you put in your notice, you're done. Maybe you take a week off or whatever it is in between the job just to kind of, breathe a little bit, and then you start on your next job.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my personality type, I'm very much a people person, and I'm kind of change averse. Like I like change, I like growth, but when it comes to ending something, I kind of struggle with that sometimes. And by the way, I was going to type up, like yesterday morning, I had like this 5-paragraph essay in my head that I was going to post on LinkedIn. And that's when I was like laying in bed, like, I could write that. Yep, that's part 1, and I'll do that over here. And then by noon, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking about as I was laying in bed this morning? You ever have that?
Yeah, that's why I'm always stuck on stories.
So I was going to post on LinkedIn a thing that just says you have to allow yourself time to mourn the loss of the team you are on, because they're all great people. Like everybody I worked with were great people. And I said, I'm stepping away to go to this other place to work. And then it kind of hit me like Friday afternoon. So like all day Friday, well, I just didn't have a lot to do. All of my projects have been passed off to the people that were taking them. I was pretty much there just to answer questions on my last day if people had them. They're like, well, these people are going to cover, A, B, C, D, E, and F while we hire on your replacement, because they didn't have somebody like in line ready to come in 2 weeks. So like Friday, I just had a lot of time to kind of ponder and I was talking with some teammates that gave me some last minute calls and stuff like that. But when it was over, I took in my computer, dropped it off. And that's it. It was done. And I'm like,
so there was a sense of no closure.
Loss. Yeah. Well, I had closure, but then came a sense of loss. Like I'm happy I left. I left it on a good note.
Yeah.
Everybody's wishing me happy trails, good luck.
Of course. Yes.
Keep in touch kind of thing. But I did not expect this moment of loss that I would feel. And
I would think it'd almost be, I thought it would almost be oh God, what'd I just do?
Well, there's like 90% I'm excited for my new job. And there's like a 10% of like, oh, I just left a really solid position to go to a thing that
I'm not sure on.
I know the job, but I don't know the industry, because I'm going from working with people with disabilities and dependent care to the hospitality industry. And I mean, other than working some hospitality based jobs as like store clerks or whatever, okay, let's see how it goes. Now the skills are transferable. I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I mean, just the kind of, like I said, the loss of the team, I'm like, I got to process this. And it took me a little bit. And I'm like, the thing I was going to post on LinkedIn was just going to be at first, just like a meme or something. It's like, you need to give yourself time.
Like a love letter to, like, you lost I know what you're saying. I think I have a hard time saying it.
You're with these people 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, because sometimes it was 7 days a week. And it was just like, you got to give yourself time to process that loss.
Yeah. Especially if you like who you're working with. That is a huge thing in this world.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
Marshall just popped in and said, hey guys, so he's going to see Jurassic Park soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just that, like I said, I wasn't expecting that. So when you change a job, give yourself some grace to be able to kind of like I said, mourn the loss of your team, especially if it's a good team. And
if it's a good team.
Yeah. If it like,
there's been some jobs I've been like,
well,
boom.
So like the last school that I was in, that I left, I had a great team, but the school itself, again, all the teachers there were good teachers.
Just the politics of it, right?
But the politics of it, the district in general, the way the admins were handling some situations, I was like, you're the reason people don't want to be teachers. And I left.
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. I just thought about this. Can you be a legitimate, genuine people person and play politics? I don't think you can. Because if you play politics, you're in a sense having to be strategic. So you're doing something other than, I mean, for the purpose of elevating you,
right,
or them owing you a favor.
you're supposed to be in politics to serve.
Yeah.
people.
And instead of just being a genuine people person, you're doing it because, hey man, I like you and I see you need help and I just want to help.
Right.
And if you're playing the political game in whatever space you're in, there's always this, you're doing it for a selfish reason and not.
I don't think so. I think,
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, politics, especially what it's become, is, the idea of you're supposed to serve the people that voted, or you're supposed to serve the people, not just the people you voted or the people that voted for you. You're supposed to also then serve the people that didn't vote for you.
Right.
Because if you won the election, all of those people are now your people.
Yeah.
And I think that's lost for a lot of politicians. They are only servicing their party or the people that voted for them or the
people that gave them the money or the aid to move forward.
There's a lot of that going on. And I think agree. Part of what's lost. And when people talk about, our forefathers and things like that, that's what they did. It was that they were there to serve the entirety of the people, not just the people that voted for them. Yeah. And so that has been lost.
Yeah. I think that's a good, thing to put out there is,
So anyway, I've got a couple days here.
So what are you going to do? Nothing.
I
would, if I were you, I would do nothing.
I would like to do nothing. But that's kind of not like, if I just sit down on my couch and play video games like all day, I would get to a certain point where I'm like, I do something else. Like I got to do something else. So that's when I'm like looking around my house and I'm like, do I go into purge mode and throw a bunch of shit out of my basement? Because I could do that. I mean, do I go clean out the cars and give them like the detailing because that's the kind of thing that I would do. Like those jobs that I can never find time to do
it now
when I'm doing other things or when I'm working full time. That's the time when I'm like, should we paint the dining room? I got a couple days. We can paint the dining room. It's that kind of stuff. No, I'm not going to paint my dining. No, I suck at it, but it's just one of those things that I'm like,
no, I didn't say are you good at painting, but you paint.
Yeah, I will. Yeah,
I will not paint. That's the one thing I will not fucking do. Do really? Not have me. You know what's funny? I used to have this fear, and I still feel it in the back of my head, and I have to check myself and tell myself, relax, dude. You're just hanging a picture on a wall. Yeah. Like I get freaked out about hanging a picture on the wall because I don't want to create 7 holes because I'm fucking up.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
the
only time I get upset, or it's like, oh damn, that's not in the stud. Like we have to hang up a TV and I'm scared to death of it. And
I had to bite the bullet on specifically hanging TVs. I had to bite the bullet on that this year and just be like, learn how to use the stud finder, get the level out, and just do it.
Yeah, that's where Ursula and I are at. Like we bought this TV. It's called the Frame. And it's basically, it's supposed to look like a picture frame.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's really cool. And you won't get the effect until you hang it on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at that point now where the TV is, everything is ready to go. We finally have gotten some stability in the house. And so we're finally putting our house back together. And it's like, all right, let's hang this TV. And she's like, really? You want to do that today? I'm like, well, not if you don't want to do that today.
I was there. Yep, that was me at Christmas time.
We're going through. We're volleying that. We're playing volleyball with that. Yeah. And but you're right. We just got to say, all right, I want to go Home Depot, buy a stud finder, just get this shit done.
And Marshall just said hanging your TVs is easier than you think, and I will agree with that because that was me at Christmas time when we had gotten a new bigger TV. And it was on the stand for a long time. And I'm like, well, we're going to decorate for Christmas soon. And the stand that it was on, like the entertainment center, the plan was that Christmas decorations are going to go there, not the TV. And so my buddy who's in construction, he's like, oh yeah, they're really easy to do. I'm like, great. Can you come and do it?
Yeah, I know.
He's like, oh yeah, it takes me like 10 minutes to hang a TV. I'm like, awesome.
CN10.
Will you want to come over and do that?
Yeah, yeah.
And twice he was like, yeah, I'll come over and do it. And then he's like, man, something came up. I can't make it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then as it happened again, I was like, okay.
All right. I gotta be
And
a
then-
man and fucking.
And
do
then
this.
finally, I'm like, seeing the thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, and finally, he's like, what is it that you need me to do again? I'm like, well, he's like, you just got to use a stud finder and the level. Like it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like,
Right.
do you not have a drill? I'm like, no, I do. I mean,
Yeah.
he's literally like shaming me into doing it. And I was like, fine.
Well,
fuck it, I'll do it.
yeah, that's something that's kind of hit me in my 40s, and I think I've told you this, and I think you could agree. I feel like I'm always late to the party. Like I catch on to things about a decade too late, and I'm like, when I was 30, that's when I should have been more accepting of making a mistake, learning from a mistake, just getting in there, getting your hands dirty, and figuring it out. Because of course you're gonna suck. I guess I was always worried about, especially when it came to a house, was screwing up the house and not knowing how to fix up the screw up.
Correct. Yeah.
That always freaked me out. Because I'm not a handy person. I don't know
Right.
how to do a lot of things.
Hanging a TV doesn't need to happen. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
you're right.
it's not like your
Yes.
sink is broken. It's not like your toilet's broken or anything like that. So it doesn't really need to happen. You'd like it to, but it
Yes,
doesn't.
it's
have
more
to.
of an aesthetically thing. It's more an aesthetic thing.
So
And
so
yeah, I get it. I'm understanding what's going on with me now.
First off, their website repairclinic.com, and
Yes,
we are
you
not
showed me
sponsored
that.
by them in any way. They're
We should be.
fantastic
We should be.
because I go to them all the time, and they've got not only do they say, okay, here's what's wrong with your thing. If
Yeah.
it's your fridge, if it's your washer dryer, whatever it is, here are the parts you need to order. And then connected to that same page is the YouTube video of a professional saying, do this first, do this second. And I'm like, okay, so I've been behind my fridge, changing out the water pump thing
Yep.
and fixing it. And it's like, I did it. And
Yeah.
you're like,
That's an amazing feeling, by the way.
Yeah.
When you actually pull something off and it didn't take you, like you didn't, like, here's the thing I always try to do, and I know it's impossible. It's called the Home Depot 3. Like if you're going for repairs, you're probably going to go to that store 2 more times after that first visit.
If you don't know what you're doing, yeah.
Yes. And I always feel like if I can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you go, Menards, and if I just have to go there one time,
And
that's a win. That's a fucking win. But there is something legitimately, like if you don't fuck up your house and you do it right the first time, like the first time I put in a garbage disposal, I was like, woman, come over here right now. And she's
see how manly I am.
Yeah, she's like, I'm like, can you smell that? That's a man. She goes, no, I think that's the garbage disposal. I'm like, yeah, but beside that, there's a man right here.
I put a new one in last year, and I am not.
You're not a fan of that?
It's fine. I'm not a fan of it, but I am not the size to be underneath my sink.
Oh,
like
that's a bitch.
You're all contorted to try to make your hands work, and
mine is double doors, so there's that piece of wood that doesn't move.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you gotta like
and then
slither your way in, and then
the floor is here, and then you're about this high, and that's your back.
Yep.
In no comfortable spot, by the way. You're
not
just
at all
screwed up there.
And eventually you're going, can someone hand me a towel? It's dripping on me.
Yeah. I think a toilet's easier than it looks. It's so easy, actually.
Yes, I've replaced it like an entire toilet before.
Yeah, an entire toilet. Yep.
Yeah. And it's not messy like people.
No, it's not crazy. It's actually, you're like, is that it? That was it?
Yeah.
That's all I had to do. Really?
The hardest part was peeling off the old wax ring.
Yep.
And you just go, oh, okay. You cut that out, clean it off as much as you can. You put a new one on, and then you put the toilet on top of it, bolt it down. And
yeah. And that's it. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So when you do these little things around the house, you feel like a man.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And then you know what I think about to myself too is, and I'll get down on myself about it too, because I'll say like, dude, people like guys used to get up at 5 a.m. and farm and cut the firewood for themselves to keep themselves warm
do
for the
all
day.
of this stuff.
They would go hunt. They do all this shit, and you're all weird about a sprinkler. Like,
Yeah.
man, the fuck up and just fucking dig the hole.
Yep.
Switch the pipe. You're done. You know. So, all right.
So that's my plan. Probably these next 2 days.
Get out
like
there and be a man.
yeah, maybe. I mean,
Grow
my kids
some
are
more
off.
hair in your chest, right?
Kids are off of school. I don't need any more of that.
you
Kids are off
hairy?
of school, so yeah,
Are
yeah.
you a hairy fella?
Not totally. Well, I like that it stays contained in the right spots.
Do you have the
it doesn't like go like anywhere else. So
Do you have the pyramid?
no.
Have you ever
don't.
seen that? People,
Yeah,
you gotta know what I'm talking
I know what you're
about.
talking about. Like where it's just like, yeah, I wouldn't call
There's
it
like the
pyramid.
hairy chest and it pyramids down like that, right to the fuzzy navel.
More like a funnel.
Funnel?
Yeah, more of a funnel. But okay, here's one story, and I wonder if my mom is listening because she probably really won't even own up to this. But so I'm like, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that.
I remember this is a great story.
And
hang on. Okay, go.
You good now? You good?
Yeah.
So I'm like 14, 15, and we're sitting in our backyard, and for some reason we're eating outside that night. Like it was yard work day. And when I was 14 or 15, I wasn't afraid to have my shirt off in public. So I had my shirt off and we're eating burgers on the picnic table and blah, blah, blah. And my mom just turned, she's like, Gregory. So what? You've got a little bit of hair in your chest. And I did. It was just that little like 14-year-old right dead center.
Yep.
And I was starting to get the trail that went down, the little happy trail. And like all of that was just starting. She's like, your dad doesn't have a hairy chest. And Dad's like, yeah, I do. And he's like getting kind of jealous of like,
upset.
I'm like, no, I don't really want a hairy chest that much.
Well, back our idols, they didn't have hair.
No, because
Like
they shave it off.
Stallone and Schwarzenegger, they
Those
didn't have it.
bodybuilders, they just
And I
take
thought
it
to
all
myself, hair's not gonna grow there. Like when you're like 12, like
yeah, you don't expect
like puberty doesn't hit everybody at the same time, and so you're not getting that hair growth yet. I didn't get chest hair until I was like 20. Then it started coming. I was like, what the fuck is this?
How did that happen?
Wow, I am eating a lot of protein.
There was one guy in my school. He was a year ahead of us, and his name was Corey. And we played football together. So there was locker room, and Corey was a fucking bear. He was.
I feel bad for those.
Well,
guys.
he was fit. So he was definitely cut up. He was a high school wrestler. So he'd cut weight and just get chiseled. But then he had just like this black mane of carpet.
Or the back sweater.
Those guys. But Corey was back sweater, but he just walked through the locker room. You're like, Jesus, that's a man. Like I'm 14 and I'm just like, I'm gonna be over.
There's always
here.
that one guy in junior high that had a mustache. You remember that? You're kind of like, dude, you're 18. What are you trying
you're not,
what are you doing here? You know, he never said anything. He never talked to you. Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. I think
that's an hour,
good.
folks.
Yeah, that's an hour. We're gonna wrap that up.
We're gonna wrap it up on chest hair tonight.
All right, there you go, Greg. Sign us out, sir.
All right. As you're going through your week, whether you're doing the same old job or getting a new one, remember as you're meeting people out, don't be a douche.
Boom. That's it. So for Johnny, that's the Greg. Everybody, podcast out. Take care.
See you guys.